I think this is a timely quote in almost any circumstance, especially when it comes to criticizing the East and the whole West paradigm, the right and left paradigm, and just in general, this is a valuable piece of wisdom. A time is coming when men will go mad, and when they see someone who is not mad, they will attack him, saying, "You are mad. You are not like us." Saint Antony the Great. Once again, a poignant statement from a church father, and one that is worth reverberating much throughout a lot of history. So it is one of those things where it becomes a fact as to how to deal with, well, in his time, persecution. More so Christian, non-Christian. Nowadays, it's in the American landscape, it is liberal conservative. Or back in the day, communist, not communist. So that can be said for many circumstances, for many things, and it always doesn't necessarily have to relate to persecution of Christians. However, one of the most interesting things I have learned when it comes to Orthodox Christian history is that the Catholics at one point in time were worse and treated Orthodox Christians worse than Muslims, or as we were persecuted pretty heavily by the Turks, which in turn are from the faith of Islam. But to be persecuted by what you would consider your own brothers and sisters in Christ versus outsiders who were militant in their own right, very and highly respected. One of the greatest empires of all time. That's like, not to take anything away from them, but the Ottoman Empire was just amazing. You could arguably the Catholic Empire is still going on today, but when it comes to that kind of persecution during that kind of time period, this relates more so to how or what he is trying to say. It's much easier to, obviously, in American history with slavery, and that's going on all around the world still to this day, whether people want to deny it or not, facts are facts. But it was much easier to obviously distinguish somebody by race than it is by their faith. And this can be used interchangeably in a sense. This is something that is getting to the point where people are persecuting people just for the sake of persecution and not having a sense of why or how or what. They're just doing it just to do it. And this is another thing that is coming to mind where Dr. Peterson, once again, with his wisdom, says people will say the worst things to you on social media, but they're completely different in real life. And that is so true. They're calling you mad, crazy, whatever other names you might want to come up with, that will give way to how they're going to react and treat you in real life. So they're calling you mad behind a computer screen, but yet they don't have the strength or the actual substance of what they're going to say in front of you, person to person. And that shows to me, well, like you said, a time is coming when men will go mad. You're going mad. You don't know when the time is coming, and it already came, but yet you're doing it behind a computer screen, and you don't have enough faith in yourself. You don't have enough faith in others. You don't have enough faith in God. You don't have enough faith in anything, really, for you to be doing something like that. And that is one of those things when you will see someone who is not mad, somebody like a Dr. Peterson, who essentially isn't as bad as he's made out to be, once again, and they attack him, saying all kinds of vitriolic things. I know I'm picking a secular figure, and this is probably one of the best examples I can say because he's been so miscategorized. When I first heard he was such, such, and such, and such, and such, all those R words, the S word, and then another slew of insults, I'm like, all right, could he be worse? Could he be bad? Is he saying really horrendous things? And then it seems to me like if you're going to attack him for these things, a lot of you are lacking a father figure. You need to listen to his wisdom, because if you don't, then it's pretty bad. Then you can't follow in the footsteps of somebody like him who's just handing out pretty basic stuff that not a lot of you are getting. And a lot of these church fathers are followed in line with somebody like him too. And that's the other thing where there's this timelessness to it, where it's there. It's there. It's just not being picked up. And then they say, you are mad. You are not like us. So there it is online, a quote that just, is thrown at him. And personally, I don't, I've never read any of these quotes and I don't really care to. But that is just saying, like, you don't agree with what we agree with, but you need to. But if you don't, we'll just accuse and persecute you even more. So there it is. There's the persecution which ultimately led to Jesus Christ being crucified on the cross. And with that symbolism comes once again, maybe I'll be pulling from Peterson's hat once again, the archetype of, in a sense, the phoenix rising, or in the Christian belief system, Christ resurrecting. So there it is. Like it's either you can't, either way you can't escape it, because there is, on the secular side, there is some persecution, martyrdom, or whatever you got in the secular side, however you want to classify it as. Phoenix rises. Take that however you want. I know there's a couple connotations to it, but I'm just saying in a very basic thing, where somebody like Peterson gets accused online, and as big as a figure as he is, boom, just right back. Can't do it. Christianity, keep getting persecuted, keep getting attacked. Well, the eternal Logos in Christ is just that's it. We have the the death and resurrection. So there it is. I mean, there were martyrs that professed their life to Christ, were given many chances to renounce it, never did. And there it is. It just keeps coming back. It just keeps coming back. So that resurrection is not only symbolic, just like the phoenix, but that phoenix is obviously secular, pagan. It's not, it's not recognized with the truth. So then you have the truth in the eternal logos of Christ, and there it is. That is why we get called mad, or we get called terrible people, when it couldn't be further from the truth. Now, there are obvious, and maybe I'll do another video on this, and I'll expand more on the political aspects of this and the other aspects of this. But in a nutshell, you have those dynamics working with one another, and this is such a timeless quote. This is a quote that goes into, I mean, not only religion, as it's coming from a church father. You have a lot of psychology attached to it, and then with that, philosophy, political leanings, and just overall societal. I mean, it's overall societal kind of thing. So there it is. This was a big one to tackle. This is an absolutely, well, in a sense, this is always a timely quote. This always seems like a timely quote. Anytime you look up history, this quote can just imprint itself onto many aspects in history. And that's why church fathers' words have stood these tests of time and have held up. And they have held up tremendously to a lot of the other things.